I use Facebook for da'wah and for da'wah purposes. I don't have Facebook, but I will share.
Ahlan sahlan bil bulldozer. But basically, my advice, my sincere advice to every single individual is that I strongly and absolutely recommend that you do not have a Facebook page. That's my sincere advice. As much as you have, inshallah, good intentions, as much as you try your best to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is an instrument, gadget for shaitan to play with your mind. Yes, we are human beings. We are susceptible to his devilish whispers, his devilish arrows. We try our utmost ability to please him at all times, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shaitan works and works and works, and no, he does not stop. And these gadgets predominantly have done more damage than anything. I know individuals, great brothers and great sisters, who are excellent da'is, who have fallen prey to this evil, devilish entity. And their intentions initially was definitely, inshallah ta'ala, with the best, of propagating Islam, teaching Muslims and so forth, but somehow or another shaitan has entered them and they were affected by it, and it led to their diversion, corruption and destruction. And there are many cases like this. So I strongly encourage every single one of us to turn this devilish thing off. You know, there are people out there, I was just told, I was telling this to the brothers last Wednesday night in my lessons in Sydney, that a brother calls me up and I get mails from worldwide saying, Sheikh, how can you have a Facebook? I go, what? They go, yes, you got Facebook, I've opened 4 pages, they said. I said, me opened the Facebook. Supposedly out there is 4 pages in my name. See the danger in this? And they all say it's me, and I have no clue or idea that this is even occurring. No control over all this. And yet people worldwide believe it's me. When I am I'm a critic against Facebook. I don't agree with it. Yet these 4 pages, I don't know who had opened them or who has opened them. And they're supposedly saying it's me. See, this is the danger of Facebook. It can lead to the wrong channels. Now, no matter how strong you may think you are, there are many, many other ways to do da'wah. Proper Islamic, genuine ways to do da'wah than through the net. Wallahi. And like I said earlier on, there are examples, and examples are many. Wallahi, they are many. Avoid these things. Avoid the internet if you can completely. It's a danger zone. Red alert. The devil is zone. He will try his best to hurt you. No matter how strong you may think you are a human being. Go to the correct channels that Allah loves, where there is no potential harm or danger to you. And that's my sincere advice. And there are examples of many of what has happened to many of our good brothers and sisters. Now,
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
As you were mentioning, Shaykh, in your lecture regarding slandering the scholars, or that's absolutely, I agree with you. But in our scholars like Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah,
No.
mashallah, but some of the scholars which they do taqleed, blind following, like they said, it is allowed even for a layman. So according to the Sunnah, if we see the Sunnah of Sahaba, Sunnah of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, of Sahaba, of Tabi'in, 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 even of the great scholars of like Aimma, like four of the Imams like Imam Abu Hanifa, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Malik and Imam Shafi'i, even they did not allow to do taqleed of themselves. There's like, even we are human beings, we make mistakes. But some of our scholars of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they say, if a person, a layman person, for example, if a sheikh is saying an opinion regarding a sheikh, but there is an authentic hadith, and he follows that, he follows the sheikh, and if a person, and he knows like sheikh is on the wrong path, and he advises him like sheikh is not on the right opinion, and even though before speaking to that brother, he and goes to the sheikh and speaks to him, but he still disagrees with that opinion, he said, no, you are still allowed to do. So in that case, are we still slandering the scholars? Or like we are backbiting them?
Look, just basic. What we've got to understand is, it's not your job or my job. Because we have not enough Islamic acquisition to go and start talking about scholars. If you see a mistake or an error in an individual, and you've advised and what have you, between you and yourself, you keep it. You can go talk to another sheikh and let him take this stance in accountability. You yourself keep away from it. You as an individual keep away from any remarks about my sheikh. Because if you are wrong, what have you done? You've hurt yourself and you've hurt the Muslims. Can you imagine if you are the reason for people's deterrence? We said earlier on that the hadith clearly says amongst you are those who frighten people. Amongst you are those who drive people away. Amongst you are those who turn people away from good deeds due to your excessiveness. Don't indulge yourself in this area. Wallahi, my advice to every one of us, keep away from noxious remarks about any Muslim. Let the scholars delve in this area. Barakallah.
So take our last question, inshallah. If there's a question from the ladies, maybe one of the kids can just get it on the paper.
Sheikh, regarding people that are involved in takfir, etc., how should we deal with these people? And like also, especially when they have their own opinion about who the scholars of truth are, who the scholars of falsehood are, and like they've got a very rigid understanding of that.
Look, basically what we've got to understand is that there are always going to be confrontations. Confrontations in the sense where people out there are going to be vicious. What? Vicious. And they're going to believe that they are on the path of truth. And you obviously know that these are extreme individuals. Your duty is to advise. وَمَا عَلَيْكَ إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ. Your duty is to convey the truth. If they accept it, بِهَا وَنِعْمَةَ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ. If they don't, بِهَا وَنِعْمَةَ, you've done your duty. But what I advise every single individual is, do not keep up to date with these people in what they say, in what they do, and their noxious, evil, devilish, slanderous remarks. Because by you following up what's been published from Kila Wakal, from these noxious, slanderous individuals, you have been, or you have become part of it. You know, I see some brothers, for example, they want to defend the Mashaykh by replying to what is mentioned on Facebook or any other instrument. Don't even bother yourself. Don't give them audience. Because when you give them audience, they've grabbed you. And when you give them audience, they love it. They what? Love it. They want is quarrel. They want is argument. And that's what munafiqun do. They love to argue. So our duty is, if we can pass the authentic knowledge, alhamdulillah. And if there is no hope, withdraw. Don't bother yourself with what they are saying, to who they are talking about, or to whom they are talking about. Let it go. Let them be. And do dua for them. That's my advice. Don't go on Facebook. I just want to see what they're saying. You want to see what they're saying? You want to see what they're saying? Go read the Quran and see what Allah is saying. It's better off. You know, we focus so much on what people are saying, but subhanAllah, the Lord of the people, we don't even look at of what He's saying to us. That's not the verse saying, if you're in a gathering or a social gathering or sitting where there's kila waqal, does not Allah Ta'ala tell us to walk away from it? It's Allah's verse. He tells us to keep away from it. Turn your back to it. Go away from it. Not to join and participate and anticipate in it. Mustafa.
Assalamualaikum. Mashallah, this is a very hot topic and a lot of questions. So, inshallah, we'll be having some more time with Sheikh Feiz. But for the ladies, the sisters class upstairs with Sheikh Abu Ayman will be starting now, inshallah. So, inshallah, if you all can head upstairs, it's you walk outside the bookshop door and then take the first door on the left, inshallah. And you have the chance to ask Sheikh Abu Ayman any questions you have, inshallah. And we will continue with the brothers with Sheikh Feiz with the questions, inshallah.
وعليك السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Like one of the problems I see with these people is that they believe that ijtihad is better than the ijtihad of the scholars that Ahlul Sunnah collectively has agreed upon. So, what are the conditions to make ijtihad and to go against scholarly opinion and this and that? Yeah, what are just the conditions, and is it alright for these people, because we see the dangers of them, is they make their own ijtihad because they think that the Quran and Hadith says this, so this one's a kafir. Straight up like that, right? So what are the conditions of the ijtihad, and when can we apply it? And what is the ruling of, it says this in the Quran and Sunnah, and following it with like no scholar at all, and no Arabic, no usul al-fiqh, all this knowledge. Thank you.
This is really an answer that will take more than a 2-minute response. Just basically, not every single individual who can read Al-Fatiha can make ijtihad. Ijtihad comes from the usuliyun, al-fuqaha, al-ulama, those who have a very strong in-ground ability in the principles and the sciences of Islam. Those who have studied Islam and have preached Islam and so forth. Not a person who has entered Islam today, he was John yesterday and today is Ahmad. 2 days later he's talking about Sheikh Ahmad and Sheikh Muhammad, and saying that they are deviant people and so forth. Scholars are the ones that do ijtihad. Scholars who have studied and are known to have studied the Quran and the Sunnah correctly, and who are known to be for amongst the people of the Quran and the Sunnah in accordance or in conformity with manhaj as-salaf as-salih. They're the ones that we accept the ijtihad from. Not, for example, a brother who has studied under an individual for 3 or 4 years, or a brother who's a Gugu Sheikh. You heard of Gugu Sheikhs? There are many Gugu Sheikhs out there. And the Gugu Sheikhs believe that their Guru companion is more stronger than the scholars of Islam, real genuine scholars who teach the real genuine Islam. And you see those who have studied correctly under ulama years and years and graduated, you see a much different image from a person who is a person who took his knowledge from books or from the computer. A major difference in the two, wallahi. A major difference. You see the ethics and morals of those who studied and lived and sat with scholars of Islam. Because when you sit with a scholar in Islam, you don't only learn Islam, but you learn the ethics, the morals, integrity, the style, the mannerism, the way they confront, deliver, respond to individuals. It's a whole package. Wallahi, it is second to none. There is no better way than sitting under ulama and taking it from them. SubhanAllah, where did the companions, who did the companions sit under? They did not go to the University of New South Wales, or Melbourne, or Monash. Is it Monash? Or Sydney University. They're not graduates of the American University, or England University, or any other university of the dunya. They were under the university, the direct university of Muhammad ibn Abdullah. No degrees, but the degree that was passed directly from the greatest teachers, the greatest education, the greatest universities. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, directly. They sat with him. They asked him. They loved him. He taught them. He showed them. He showed them how to preach. The example is extremely explicit. Mustafa, when the man came, the Bedouin, destitute, entered the masjid. See, this is all education here. Understand? It's education. And urinated in the middle of the masjid. Without knowledge, the companions what? Oh, to pounce him, ambush him, get rid of him. How dare you urinate in the masjid? But what was the teacher teaching? Huh? He taught them. This is not the way. This is the way. And the examples are plentiful. They're what? Plentiful. The correct knowledge is not to sit at home behind your keyboard, nor is it to sit at home behind your books and think that you'll ever become a good da'i behind these things. You must sit under the scholars of truth. Thank you. Otherwise you would not learn the truth. And the whole conference today is what? The right path. Not the wrong path. We are trying to the best of our capability to deliver what we are able to deliver, that we ourselves sat for years and years and years, wallahi, years and years, on the feet of great scholars of Ahl-Sunnah. Years and years. And the best days of our lives, wallahi, is when we sat with the mashayikh, the ulama, and we saw and we scrutinized their behavior, their way, their style, their method, their methodology, their mannerism of da'wah. Now honestly, brothers, can you get this methodology from books? Can you get this methodology from Google? This is our problem in Mustafa. And the ones that are causing the problems are those people. I do not know one sheikh that's a genuine graduate, let us say from the Islamic University, that has ever criticized or derogatively spoken against another sheikh. I cannot give you one example. Why? Because they know better. They have studied correctly. They have learnt the correct way, the right path. But the ones that are causing the mischief, the problems, are those who have not studied under Mashiach. They're all in that. And they are doing the ijtihad, saying, the Sheikh said this, hold it there. Okay, what are we going to do here now? Google. Google, tell me what I'm going to do here. It comes out. Google comes out. And what happens? He prints that out. Google told me he's a kafir. Kafir. Mubtadi'. Fasik. Dhalik. This is the way that Allah taught us. Now, can you honestly say that Rasulullah sallallahu would do this feel like this? I don't think so. Wallahi, I don't think so. I don't think so. SubhanAllah. When one of the companions, look how he taught his companions, and in return taught all of us. One of his companions, in brief, I'm not going to tell the whole story, it's too long. When he sent a letter with a woman from Medina all the way to Mecca, informing the Meccans that Rasulullah is going to attack him. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed it to him through inspiration, revelation, informing Rasulullah that this man has sent a letter for a woman who is currently traveling to Mecca with the information that we're going to attack you very soon on such a date, such a time. Immediately, I think it was Ammar and Ali, he sent two companions who followed the woman and said, when they got to her, give us the letter. She said, what letter? What are you talking about? She denied even having a letter. He goes, Wallahi, Rasulullah is not mine. Give me the letter, or I will take it away from you, myself, forcefully. Here's the letter. She took it out of her pouch and gave them the letter. They went back to Rasulullah. They read the letter. Now Umar ibn Khattab immediately said, Ya Rasulullah, we all know the great Farouk, let me cut this man's neck off, this munafiq. Listen to the reply of Rasulullah. See, this is teaching, education from scholars, from the elites, from Ahl al-Haq. What did he say? He goes, Sabran ya Umar, be patient. He is from the people of Badr. Subhanallah. From the what? People of Badr. And Allah has forgiven their past and their present sins. So he asked them, why did you do this? They didn't go and slaughter him. He asked him, why did you do this? He goes, Ya Rasulullah, Wallahi, I did not do it because I dislike Allah and Rasulullah. In fact, I love you. I love Allah and the Prophet. But I have relatives in Mecca and I fear for them. I fear for them. And Rasulullah pardoned him. This is spying. This is spying, which constitutes in Islam to death. Now, if this incident happened today, those individuals quickly jump onto it. They jump onto things that are, wallahi, an ant to an elephant. That's an elephant, it's fine. But an ant, which is something so basic, they jump onto it. Kafir, look at him. His opinion is you can take the lesser of the two evil of voting. A'udhu billah, shirk, kafir. Then you might as well do all the takfir and all the salaf in worldwide. You might as well do the takfir on the majority of salaf in the world. Because they said the same thing. That's ijtihad. I may not agree to this, and I don't. But I respect. I fully respect this opinion. Although I don't accept it. I will not worship Allah on this. But I respect the scholars and what they say. You understand where I'm coming from, Mustafa? See, this is our problem. Those individuals have a wicked tongue. They jump the hurdle when they should not jump the hurdle. But they think they can jump it. And they think they've been allowed to jump it, and they're not allowed to jump it. Story goes on further and further and further. Al-Mushtahidun, the ones that do ijtihad, only those of Ahl al-Haq understand that. And I'm pretty sure you understand what I mean. بارك الله فيك مصطفى, الله يحفظك. على كيفك؟ أنا موجود إلى الساعة 6 العشية حتى الفجر إذا أردت. سلام الله. يا الله.
When Muslims today, they believe there's nothing wrong for listening to music, and
Really? Allahu Akbar.
they believe a bit of balance is alright, and especially with the new music that's coming out with Shiites and singing Islam.
Allahu Akbar.
They believe that it's alright to give it a bit of balance and share some
You know, hip hop on the side. Like that guy said to me, a time for this, a time for that. Allahu Akbar. There is no shadow of a doubt that the Quranic verses, in conjunction and in conformity with the beautiful authentic narrations, all clarify that it is prohibited. No shadow of a doubt. Music is definitely haram when it involves any kind of obscene and indecent words, or it involves instruments. It is haram. And in reality, there are so many evidences in response to this question. You know, the most, all I can give you is this one hadith in Bukhari that mentions it will be thought to be lawful. That's enough for us to understand this. As for anashid, it's become a problem for all of us. For all of us. You know, today we enter cars and all they have is anashid. In reality, is this what we are asked to do? Is this what we are allowed to do? Wherever we go, no matter where it is, always just listen to anashid. If we enter our cars, if we enter our homes, before we go to sleep, we carry even the iPods today, or our phones, and we have anashid playing. This is not the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Scholars went to the extent, and they said that you can only use anashid, the halal anashid I'm talking about here, not the musical anashids. You know, in Sydney we've got a station called the Islamic Rock Station. Have you heard of it? You haven't heard of it? Omar, you've heard of it? You know, the Ahbash, the Islamic Rock Station is called. And wallahi, you think it's a full-on hip-hop rock station. Wallahi. And you put it on, you honestly think it's just a rock and roll station with the latest, you know, top 40. The top 40 these days. So you put it on and sadly to say, wallahi, and ladies and girls singing with musical instruments. This is haram. Haram, with no shadow of a doubt. That's just another excuse or a compromise to that which you want to listen to, which is music. No difference, it is music. You listen to that, you are listening to music. Even if the words are the words of Muhammad sallallahu or Allah in it. Big deal. It's still music. Today, ya ikhwati al-a'izza, we have become too accustomed to it. We live our lives around this anashid. Scholars have said clearly that it is only allowed in certain circumstances, not all the time. We've abandoned the Quran. We've abandoned the lessons that we used to put in our cars or in our homes, and have exchanged it for anashid or with anashid. This is not the correct way of a Muslim. Don't listen to anashid and become obsessed with it. And I think it was Sheikh Ibn Baz or Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen that clearly mentioned it, that you are only allowed to utilize it or use it in times where there is farah, times where there is a celebration, a time where it's a festival or what have you. So try to keep away from this and instead play the Quran. You put the Quran, you answer this question. Would the Quran be the same reward, the anashid be the same reward that listen to the Quran? Does the hadith say if you listen to the string of anashid, for every letter you're going to get 10 reward? No, honestly. We abuse ourselves without even knowing. We hurt ourselves without even knowing. We just throw reward like this. Allah gives us and say, take it. You say, yeah, Allah, I'll take it later on. Time for this now, and it's shit only. I'll get reward from this. I want to just relax and relieve myself. And the predicament here is, you get those who are reverts or don't know even Arabic, who are listening to the Arabic anashid. They don't have a clue in the world what they're saying. But they love the beat. They love the what? The beat. The way it sounds. I've spoken to many of those individuals. I go, what do you listen to? It sounds good. But what do you listen to? But it sounds great. Yeah, Habibi, you're supposed to benefit. Not hurt yourself. You're just hurting yourself. And today another problem is, we have the Islamic concerts. An Islamic concert? You know such thing as an Islamic concert? Where they invite the artists of the world, Sami Yusuf, not long ago in the UK, a major theatre. He was playing on the stage. Wallahi, ladies screaming, crying out loud, raising their arms and waving them like this, yes, Sami, in the aisles of that auditorium. An anashid concert. Can you support this? Would you invite Umar ibn Khattab to this? I tell you what, Sami won't stay there for long. He will quickly remove himself, I'm telling you. So this is our scenario, this is our situation today. Women screaming and crying out loud, wallahi, even tears. Sami. Some of What's the difference between that and watching AC/DC? They're doing the same thing, are they not? Is there still alive AC/DC? Old days. So, we have changed. Let us be careful. Last night we heard a very good narration that I mentioned to you guys in the talk. We said that when Salah ibn Ayyubi was asked a question, listen carefully to this beautiful statement. When the great liberator of Al-Aqsa, Salah ibn Ayyubi, was asked as to why he did not smile, he said, how can I smile while knowing that Masjid Al-Aqsa is under crusade occupation? Brothers and sisters, wallahi, think about it. We're listening to these artists and it packs the room, the hall, the theatre. When there's a lesson, no one even goes there. When the world is the way it is today, where Al-Aqsa today is not under only a Zionist occupation, where wallahi we've become blinded. We have forgotten 90% of Palestine has been taken. 90% has been taken by the Zionists, leaving them with only 2 strips, the West Bank and Gaza Strip. Honestly, brothers, we got time to go and watch concerts, sit on the stage, scream out and cry, in laughter? Is this what will become? While the world is being eaten, the Muslim world? Keep away from An-Nasheed and only utilize it when it's doing. No. Fatih Ahmed Ubaid.
I don't need a microphone, right?
Salam to Allah.
We know in Sydney NRL the devilish game, but what's the ruling of AFL? Yesterday's paper had.
You're sorry. They got me in trouble in Sydney. Now he's come to Melbourne to get in trouble.
The sisters playing AFL on the front page.
So again?
Sisters in hijab playing AFL.
Playing?
Playing AFL.
Praying? Playing? Sisters?
Sisters.
You're joking,
No,
though.
the face yesterday.
It's a joke. I hope it's a joke.
It's true. They're wearing tights and hijabs.
Have you been as well?
I thought of it. Well,
You know the answer to this.
Some brothers don't.
You know the answer to this. You know, I've referred to Qusay's footage on, what did you call it, Qusay? I don't know what you call it. You'll find that Allahu Alam Qusay has uploaded dunya. It's gone, hasn't it? Too much problems?
tell him to, Sheikh, tell him to ask Sheikh Abu Ayman. Tell him to ask Sheikh Abu Ayman.
Why isn't the answer clear? Do you really need an answer for that? Do you honestly need an answer that is clear as that light? Sorry, this light? If you do, there's something wrong with your iman. If you need an answer for that and you don't know the answer, there is definitely something wrong with your iman. If we are as ignorant as this, Allah. Now, Habib, it looks like the guys have given us a روح النساء ما في حدا هون كان في فإذا ذهب The question is, when something bad happens in our life, people say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has something better for you. It seems bad, but it's actually khair. But I feel that it is incorrect. Can it not be that Allah is making you experience bad events because He wants to test you and not necessarily something good has to come out of it? We know the beautiful narration that mentions that amazing or beautiful or wondrous are the affairs of a believer. And the hadith clearly says that all of his affairs are good. And this could only be for a believer. If prosperity befalls him, he says Alhamdulillah, and that is good for him. And if a calamity befalls him, he is patient, and that is good for him. No shadow of a doubt, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will throw at you obstacles and obstacles for one single purpose, to examine. Man is definitely, every second of his existence is being examined. Things that may come before your eyes you may not like. Things that may not come and you do like, but they are both a test. When a good thing happens to you, even though it's good, it's still a test to see if you are going to be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when a calamity befalls you, likewise, subhanallah, look at the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Likewise, it's a test for you in order to expiate, in order for your sins to be forgiven if you are patient and you are thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So every part of our existence revolves around this pivot, the pivot of examination. And today we live in a world of cause and effect. We are living in a world of cause and effect. Woman, money, assets, people, death, humiliation, things after things, being tested in many ways. And this world, which is a world of cause and effect, we are bound to be influenced by it. We are bound to be influenced. But all these things that are being thrown at us, that we are influenced by, they are in fact a test of Iman. A test of Iman. But our problem today is, many of us forget that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has examined us with is in fact for us. Not against us, but for us. So we lose this test. We fail this test. We involuntarily rush to these things that we believe are good for us, when in fact they're bad for us, and we forget to distinguish between halal and haram, right and wrong. So my answer to this question is, no matter what comes towards you, no matter what you are confronted by or with, always say, Alhamdulillah, it is good for me. The question says here, Allah has something better for you. It seems bad, but it's actually khair. Just say, it is khair. You don't need to say Allah has something better for you. Just say, it is khair. If a calamity befalls you, then you are patient, and that is good for you. That's the hadith. And we stick and restrict ourselves to the hadith. The hadith says, if a calamity befalls you, and you are patient, it is good for you. Period. No need to enter other areas and try to clarify it with other statements. It is very, very clear and understood. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throw at us obstacles that we are able to pass and we are able to accept, and not burden us with things that we are not able to. Be patient fools. So وقت الصلاة ولا ما صار وقت الصلاة؟
It's almost salat time, but Sheikh Abu Ayman's class is going on upstairs, so we'll be waiting for him to come down. So we'll just maybe take 2 more questions, and then we can head off to wudu and pray sunnah.
Go off your way.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. My question is, going back to music. Sheikh Yusuf al-Qaradawi, he mentions about Ibn al-Hazm. He mentions that Ibn al-Hazm said that the hadiths that are mentioned about prohibiting the music, they're all daif or fabricated.
Can Muhammad ibn Ismail Bukhari be da'if?
I'm not too sure, Sheikh.
I'm asking you that question. Can hadith in Bukhari be da'if?
I don't think.
Well, it's in Bukhari. It's what? In Bukhari. Period. Now, like Ali. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, what is the ruling? I know the pants are meant to be above the ankle. Some brothers use the interpretation of that Abu Bakr and they say it's okay. What's the ruling?
You asked me that question 2 weeks ago. What asked me that for? Huh? See, he's always a troublemaker, this guy. He's Ahmad Ubaid. Sit next to him.
Right, man.
Look, basically, any garment below the ankle is not the dress code of a male Muslim. In fact, it is a reason for punishment. In Bukhari, it clearly mentions, مَا تَحْتَ الْكَعْبَيْنِ فِي النَّارِ. Anything underneath the ankles is in the fire. Now, those that say it's allowed, unless it's out of pride, they utilized the hadith of Abu Bakr ibn Abi Quhafa radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma, that once he was seen with the trousers dropping down, falling down. He could not keep it up because he was a skinny man, very skinny man. So his pants would fall down, but he would raise it. He would what? Raise it, which in fact is a sign that he should not have it underneath his ankles, not the other way around. Because when he was found with the garment going down, he would try to raise it, but he had a problem due to his waistline. Now we have a hadith by Umar ibn al-Khattab when he was praying Fajr prayer, and we all know he was stabbed with a poisonous dagger by Abu Lu'lu al-Manjani, the Majusi. Now, when he was stabbed, he fell to the ground and he was taken inside to his room, which was his deathbed. He was dying, subhanAllah. Now listen to this. He was dying on that bed, and a man enters the room and he had his garment below his ankles. Umar ibn Khattab said to this man, raise those pants. He didn't ask him whether you wear it out of pride. He said, raise your pants. And the man raised it. He was asking if it's out of pride. There's another hadith that mentions that the dress code for a man is to the middle of his shin. To what? The middle of his shin. The reality of the garment for a man is to wear it to the middle of your shin. That's the sunnah. If you do not want to wear it to the middle of your shin, do not wear it below the ankle. The hadith is extremely conspicuous. ما تحت الكعبين في النار. Anything below the ankles is in the fire. Now when you hear this narration, brothers, is this not enough? Do you really have to indulge yourself, whether it's out of pride or not? When the hadith says anything underneath the ankles, it did not say except if it's out of pride. It's in Bukhari. He clearly said anything. It's comprehensive. Under the ankles is in the fire. And I strongly would adhere to this narration, and wallahi, I will be scared. This is my opinion, my sincere opinion. I will in fact be scared to wear a garment underneath my ankles, knowing this hadith exists, honestly. Now,
Sheikh, what about Islamic comedy or doing comedy in Islamic places? Is that like counted?
Islamic comedy?
Comedy.
What have we become? Is there such a thing as Islamic comedy?
I mean, like comedy for Islamic.
Jokes.
For instance, doing a comedy event.
Give me an example of what you mean by comedy here. Comedy is very vast. We're doing comedy now. This is a lesson, but it's comedy. You want to call it comedy? You can if you want.
Yeah, but I mean,
you're smiling, aren't you? And you're laughing.
Yeah, I mean, like for instance, doing a comedy event, something like for a fundraising event. For instance, to raise money for a masjid, you go, you get together a few nasheed artists and a few other people.
Why in the world? Really now? Would you get nasheed artists? Why? You got ulama, you got mashaykh that teach you who Allah is. You have someone sit down and do a drum and sing? Honestly now, what have we become? Like, why would we even do that for? Honestly. Now I'm going to ask you an honest question. Would you invite Rasulullah to one of these comedy events and he's sitting down while there's a nasheed artist in front of you? Now, come on. Why not? Why not? That's the answer.
Sheikh, he mumbles, he goes to do his wudu and he's mumbling all those anasheeds. Day and night. He said said it, they become
Obsessed.
obsessed.
Instead of mumbling the Quranic verses.
Sure. Just for the example that I get from the question, for instance, for our school, we're doing funding for a masjid, we're doing a comedy event. It's
An Islamic event. Why call it a comedy event? Did you know that in Islam, if you say jokes to make people laugh, it's extremely a major sin. You're considered a deviant in Islam. A deviant. If you just stand and speak in order to make people laugh, hadith sahih, you're considered to be a deviant. I just heard recently, a few weeks ago, that someone called a comedian or something, Islamic comedian that came from America. What's his name? Was he true? Is there really something called a comedian in Islam? Is that what Islam is built on? SubhanAllah, Umar ibn Khattab kicked out a man in a masjid for simply talking about stories about Islam. Storytelling. He removed him from the masjid. So there's no room in Islam for storytelling. Can you imagine a man telling jokes? Can you imagine a man telling jokes? To make people laugh? That's all you want. I'll tell you what, Danny brought قلنا سؤال بس 20 سؤال.
So we'll keep it for the panel discussion. So inshallah يعني we'll be doing a panel discussion in the evening. So جزاكم الله خيرا, جزاك الله خير شيخ فايز